Hey everyone, it's Justin G. Dark, JD. Justin Dark, you know who I am by this point, if you're watching this. So today I'm gonna do another top 10 list. And ignore this ugly ass thing on my face. For some reason it just freaking grew there overnight and now I can't get rid of it. It's almost like a spider bit me and it's filled with the stuff that turned Peter Parker into Spider-Man, but anyway, today I'm going to do another top 10 list. And I've only done like 3 so far. The first one being girls I like, the second being the Honey Pot girls, and the third being the underrated Twisted Metal characters. Well, besides Twisted Metal and women, I also have a soft spot, an interest for Batman. Batman, okay? Now, this list, some of y'all might be wondering, oh, what's this list gonna be, Justin? Even if unless you read the title, which you probably did, but this is gonna be a top 10 list. Top 10 Batman villains. Batman enemies. The characters that Batman punches or has feuds with. I'm gonna do a top 10 Batman villains but my number one rule is they have to be villains from the movies. I'm sorry for those who read comic books and watch cartoons, but I don't like comic books, okay? I don't read at all. I think reading is just not my thing, okay? Even though I do write fan fictions, I don't really read that much. And I don't really care for comics. So, the villains in this list are not going to be or if they haven't been in a movie, they will not be featured. So, sorry to you Clayface and Manbat fans out there. I'm sorry that y'all didn't get to see Manbat or Clayface on this list. As much as I'd love to see them in a movie, they haven't been featured at all yet, and, yeah. So, this is going to be my top 10 list of Batman villains from the movies. And most of them are going to be on this list, with the exception of one, but there will be a variation of him. I'll let you know which one from the 80s and 90s will not be featured. So let's start out with number 10. Number 10. A very, very hard to decide one. I was debating on whether or not to put her on the list, but number 10 is Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin, played by Uma Thurman. There is a reason she's number 10, people. She is the worst villain in the entire Batman movies from the 80s and 90s. Well, technically she is, to me. And it's nothing against Uma Thurman. She can act. I've seen her in Pulp Fiction. She played the beautiful Mia Wallace. But in Batman and Robin, she kind of overdoes it. She overacts, okay? You can tell she's like, it's almost like she's on a stage at a play, and she's not the best villain, but I will give credit where credit is due and put her on number 10, because there's one thing about her I do kind of like. It is her costume design. She looks very, very interesting. I liked her lime green jumpsuit with painted nails on the gloves, and her hair was cool. And some of her costumes were pretty good in the movie. That's the best thing about Batman and Robin is the art and the costumes and the sets. That's probably the best thing about Batman and Robin. But Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy, her acting is the worst. Okay, it's atrocious. She should have gotten a Razzie for that instead of Danny DeVito, okay? I'm sorry, but I put her number 10 because she does have a neat costume design, and it looks like there was some effort put into her story, I guess. I mean, it kind of was kind of weird how, like, she died, and then she came back as a different person. I'm like, I could see her, like, maybe being fused with the plant by that mad doctor, and she comes out as the plant lady, not being killed, and then coming back from the pits of hell or whatever. That's a bit off, but no matter. Number 10 is Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin. Number 9, Harlequin from Birds of Prey. and Suicide Squad. You know, a lot of people have critiqued Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. People have said that her accent's fake and she's kind of annoying or something, or her acting is off. To be honest, it doesn't bother me, okay? At least she can do a better northeastern accent in America than I can. A Brooklyn type accent, I should say. No, I never really seen the original Suicide Squad, and I haven't watched the new one either. But I saw Birds of Prey, and I thought it was okay. It came out the same time Sonic the Hedgehog came out. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it in theaters because I wanted to watch Sonic, and I wasn't really into Batman as much as I was back in early 2020 as I am now. But Harley Quinn is... I'm alright with Harley Quinn. She's not perfect. She's not bad, but she's decent. If she's able to get her own movie, then, you know, there is some good things about her. Birds of Prey is a good movie, and by the way, it was better than the original Suicide Squad as far as I can tell. But Harley Quinn by Margot Robbie from Birds of Prey and Suicide Squad. Number 8. This one's going to be very controversial because she's so low on the list. Number 8 is Catwoman from Batman Returns. And I guess you could include Anne Hathaway's Catwoman from The Dark Knight Rises, but I don't care for that one, even though it does look more accurate to the comics as from what I was told. But number 8 is Catwoman from Batman Returns. Let's just put it like that. Catwoman, you know, much like Leeloo Dallas from The Fifth Element, Catwoman is over-sexualized. But I do understand the appeal for her more than Leeloo, at least. Because, I mean, look at what she's freaking wearing. A freaking leather outfit with freaking... And she made it from scratch, and she's just like a cat. And she actually looks kind of like a gimp or something. I don't know what to call it. The rubber suit they're wearing women. Yeah, I can see why people sexualize Catwoman. But she was a very good love interest for Bruce Wayne. The only love interest in the original movies that ended up being a villain and ended up dying. Like Vicky Vale, she was just a damsel in distress. Chase Meridian, same situation, but she had a little bit more fight in her, and she was sexier. But Catwoman was a straight up villain. They were both like Batman and Selena Kyle, the Catwoman, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. You know, they were like, when she found out that Batman was Bruce Wayne, she kind of, you know, but she had to make a choice, either love or revenge on Max Schreck. Of course, she chose revenge and took her life and his life with her. And she's the only Batman love interest girl that was a villain and died. As far as I can tell, she died. You know, where else did she go when she got electrocuted? But Catwoman from Batman Returns is number 8. Number 7. The Riddler from Batman Forever. Guys, I love Jim Carrey. One of my favorite actors period. Besides him, Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, you know, Jim Carrey is a comedic genius. He deserves more movies than Adam Sandler, okay? I'm just saying. So when he was the Riddler, I thought he was really, really funny. You know, he was basically Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey when he played that role. But, you know, he was very charming in the movie. He did, you know, he did play his part, and he did make it work. Though he was a bit over the top and goofy, but I will say in that last scene when he said he's a god, he was like, "Then a god am I." That actually felt a little bit scary when he did that. I'm like, oh shit, the Riddler ain't playing no more. He's gone from Edward Nigma to straight up the Riddler getting revenge on his idol for turning him down at first. You know, the Riddler was a very disturbed man, and he ended up becoming a villain thanks to the other guy that was in the movie, which I'll talk about him in a minute, a little bit. But the Riddler from Batman Forever, you know, very good villain. Jim Carrey is awesome. But number 6 is the Scarecrow from Batman Begins. This character, I'm just not noticing him, okay? He was a underused, underappreciated Batman villain that was featured in Batman Begins and the Dark Knight trilogy in general. If you take all of his Scarecrow scenes, put them together within the entire trilogy, he only gets roughly around 2, maybe 3 minutes of screen time. Which was, like, very disappointing. Like, the Scarecrow was awesome, okay? I liked his mask. I'm even thinking about making my own character, because I got a Scarecrow mask up there. I call it the Fear Crow. I might just turn him into a parody character of the Scarecrow from Batman Begins. But yeah, and here's a fun fact about the Scarecrow. If Batman and Robin wasn't as much of a failure as it was, they were gonna make Batman Unchained, right? The Scarecrow and Harlequin were supposed to be the villains of the 5th and final Batman movie from Joel Schumacher. And Nicolas Cage was considered to play the role. I actually would have loved to see Nicolas Cage as the Scarecrow. He probably would have made an okay Scarecrow. But no, they canceled the movie, and then they didn't make another Batman movie for another 8 years. They ended on Batman and Robin, and waited until 2005 to make Batman Begins. But the Scarecrow was underused in that movie. He should have been the villain, not Ra's al Ghul, whoever the heck he was. He don't even look like an interesting villain. The Scarecrow is much more deserving to be the main villain than Ra's al Ghul. Just my opinion, because at least he looks threatening and scary. Even without the mask, he's kind of creepy, you know? He's like that psychiatrist dude that, like, owns Arkham or whatever, I don't know. Number 5. The Penguin from Batman Returns, played by Danny DeVito. This guy is one crazy mofo. One sick, twisted monster. The Penguin is a messed up guy, okay? He's literally like this dude living in the sewers because his parents apparently abandoned him because he did so many messed up things, and he ended up going to the sewer and living there for like 30 years or something. But in Batman Returns, he finally comes out, tries to run for mayor, but also wants to kill the firstborn children of Gotham. Very messed up character. You know, but Danny DeVito's performance, I don't understand why he got a Razzie for that performance. Why did he get a Razzie for that? The Penguin, I thought that was some of his best acting. I thought he was very, very scary. You know, I thought he was very creepy. Almost like this dude will really bite your nose off. Which he did do that in the movie. But the Penguin, I like the Penguin. Very creepy. You know, one of my favorite villains. That's why he's in the top 5. But the Penguin, very scary. I do think he's pretty terrifying. Danny DeVito did a good job playing him. I don't understand why he got a Raspberry Award for that, but whatever. Number 4. This one is going to maybe piss some people off, maybe not. Number 4 is Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Y'all give Victor Freeze too much ice cold crap, okay? Mr. Freeze is probably one of the only reasons I think Batman and Robin is okay. You know, Mr. Freeze, yes, he does make a bunch of silly ice puns. Yes, he does act very goofy, and even though he has a dying wife and he should act sad. And yes, he kind of looks weird. At the same time, though, I do like his design as much or more than Poison Ivy. But Mr. Freeze is like the best thing in that movie. I mean, he does make a good villain. I mean, he for the next villain, he does make the most sense to put in a Batman movie after Batman Forever. I think it should have just been him and Bane. They could have left Poison Ivy out because the story of him wanting to freeze the world or Gotham and then Poison Ivy turning it into a jungle afterwards, I'm like, that don't make any sense. I think that is stupid. Just keep Mr. Freeze and maybe have Bane as maybe like a henchman and make him like more well spoken and maybe make him betray Mr. Freeze in the end or something. That would have been better, but nope. But Mr. Freeze, my favorite villain in Batman and Robin. I like him better than George Clooney in that movie because George Clooney played an okay Bruce Wayne, but put him in the bat suit, nope, I can't take him seriously. Especially with the Bat credit card. Fucking credit card, okay. Stop being mad, okay. Alright, number 3 is Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. This is the character that I mentioned that won't be getting a spot for the 90s villains. Let me explain. Bane from The Dark Knight Rises at least is more iconic and badass than Bane from Batman and Robin. Bane from Batman and Robin, I don't understand what they just took this big beefy dude and made him stupid. He don't even say much. He just grunts and says one word at a time. But as far as I know, Bane is supposed to be a well-spoken mercenary with incredible strength. So that's why Bane in The Dark Knight Rises is my third favorite villain in Batman, the entire movies, okay? Bane is, you know, his voice is iconic. I even have a face mask of him. I only have one as, like, if I wore a mask, like, people want me to because they're apparently masked to find you now, but I would probably shave my head and wear the Bane mask instead of whatever the heck else the cloth masks are. But Bane has the most iconic voice in the entire trilogy. He is pretty threatening, you know. Despite him working with another person, Talia al Ghul, Bane is very threatening. If he was able to throw Batman in a hole and almost destroy the place, I think Bane definitely is. And after the Joker, you know, after Heath Ledger passed away, I think that was the most logical villain to use for a darker Batman movie. You know, I couldn't see, like, the Riddler or, maybe the Penguin. But I couldn't see someone like, Mr. Freeze or someone. Could you imagine they made Mr. Freeze the leader of the League of Shadows? No. Mr. Freeze should be the League of Frostbitten Buttholes. I don't know. The League of Snow, okay? I think Bane was the best choice after the Joker. Speaking of the Joker, we go to number 2. This one will include technically 3 in 1. But if I had to put these 3 different Jokers on this list, chances are some of them wouldn't be on here. So, number 2 is the Joker. The one from Batman 89, The Dark Knight, and the Joker spin-off movie. So let's talk about each one individually. Batman 89's Joker was the first major cinematic Joker. After Cesar Romero, but that was like, you know, made for TV bootleg. Jack Nicholson's Joker from Batman '89. I will say he was definitely one of the best Jokers in the entire Batman movies. To me, he's the third best. But if you had to ask me which Joker is most accurate to the other Jokers, I would say yes, Jack Nicholson's Joker is more accurate than the other two. And not to mention, this one is actually pretty scary. Not when he's like regular, when he's just like with his white face after he got dipped in the chemicals and his face turns white or whatever. No, that's not scary. That's awesome. But whenever he puts that human makeup on, but he still has the Joker grin, it looks pretty damn terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. Very surreal. And the Joker, from that movie I do think it was kind of crappy how they changed it to him being Batman's parents' killer instead of the random guy that he's never going to find. Because you think after he killed the Joker, they'd stop making the movies and he'd stop being the Batman because he finally got revenge on who killed his parents. And I do think his motivation in the movie for him being a freaking simp for Vicky Vale, that's kind of questionable too. It's like his boner's talking to him. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weird. But other than that, Jack Nicholson's Joker is a good Joker. But the next Joker is the Dark Knight Joker. That took the Joker to the next level. Heath Ledger as the Joker. Best performance. He is the best Joker. His appearance, meh, but still very creepy, much like Jack Nicholson. However, when he's in the Joker makeup, Heath Ledger, no matter what, he's still creepy. He got scars on his face. He's just creepy by himself, and he is definitely a big threat. The Agent of Chaos is what he calls himself, and that fits perfectly for the Joker. But the last Joker I'm going to talk about on this number 2 spot, so I don't take up too much time with the Joker, is Joaquin Phoenix Joker from Joker 2019. Besides Harlequin, the Joker also got his own movie. This Joker is actually, the most tragic Joker, and the one that really, a very interesting take on the Clown Prince of Crime. Basically, Joaquin Phoenix plays this outcast dude who has mental issues, and throughout the movie, he's slowly derailing, slowly losing his mind. The city takes away his medication. He kills some guys on the subway. Eventually, he's no longer Arthur Fleck. He is now Joker. No more Arthur. Arthur is dead. Joker has taken over. And he does have, the best design, really. He has the most unique Joker design. Instead of giving the purple suit with the white face, with the weird... he got a red suit and blue triangles over his eye. He looks more like a clown, really. I will say he looks more like a clown. But he is kind of this society man that, the Dark Knight kind of introduced. Enough about the Joker, though. Let's just say this. Heath Ledger, best performance. Joaquin Phoenix, best performance next to Heath Ledger. Jack Nicholson, good Joker. Don't get me started on Jared Leto from Suicide Squad. He was good in Justice League, but he doesn't deserve number 2. Don't get me started on Jared Leto. But number 1, we're at number 1 now. And some of y'all probably already know what I'm going to say. And it is very, very controversial for me to like this character, whether I'm talking about one or another. Two-Face from Batman Forever. And I will include the one from The Dark Knight on here as well. Two-Face. He's like a living Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In Batman Forever, he really was a big freaking goofball played by Tommy Lee Jones. I thought that was charming and funny and an interesting take on what's supposed to be a serious character. I kind of thought that was okay. My favorite villain is Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face. But there's another thing I'm going to mention. I'm going to mention the other Two-Face from The Dark Knight. Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face. Which is like the complete opposite of Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face. Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face is the definition of a man who lost his life and then his mind. You know, Aaron Eckhart's Two-Face is the complete opposite of Tommy Lee Jones. He's a dark character. He's serious. He's crazy. He really is dark. I like both Two-Faces, but Tommy Lee Jones is good for a laugh. I like how he acts like he's on crack. That is just charming, especially looking back in the year 2021, where most movies don't have that type of humor and, look. I mean, the design of Two-Face from Batman Forever, awesome. Okay, I like his half pimp, pink zebra, giraffe suit. I like his pink bubblegum face. That has more charm to it than anything we see now in movies. If they would make movies like that now, at least a few of them, then maybe it'd feel like we're still living in the 90s just with a different twist. But yes, number one was Two-Face from Batman Forever, and I gave credit to the Dark Knight one because I barely talk about that one. So this was my top 10 Batman villain list from the movies. Like I said, I'm sorry to the people who like Man-Bat and, Clayface. And trust me, I wish they were in movies too. I think Clayface and Man-Bat would definitely be good in a movie. But unfortunately they never showed up in a movie, and I know of their existence, don't worry, but yeah, so this was my top 10 Batman movie villains. And whether y'all agree with me or disagree with me, I know y'all disagree with me about Two-Face from Batman Forever, but trust me, whatever. But this was my top 10 list of Batman movie villains. Justin Dark signing out. Say bye-bye to this ugly-ass pimple. Alright. Let me know what y'all thought of this video. If y'all thought I could, if there's any more top 10 lists y'all want to see, let me know. I got some ideas, some I don't, but alright. Have a great twisted night. Yeah, there we go.